delighted today to be able to introduce our speakers on quite a controversial topic. This is the end of trade unionism as we know it.
Now, he's not a streaker, he's actually the HR director of Air France, running away with haste from a union meeting at which he literally had his shirt ripped off his back. We don't have that in the UK. In terms of union membership, in the UK, we're at approximately 25%, which is actually 14% in the private sector, and the rest is made up of the public sector, where it's about 50%. 1980 was the high mark, 32 million strike days, which compares to 2011, there were only 143,000 strike days. Voluntary recognition, the starting point is that the presumption is that arrangements between the employer and the union are not legally enforceable. However, agreements reached between a union and an employer can be incorporated, and often are incorporated into individual terms and conditions, as long as, amongst other things, those terms are apt for incorporation.
In many respects, what the government is proposing, some say, is trying to deal with a problem that doesn't exist, or alternatively trying to use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. 15th of July, last year, that's when the trade union law was published. And alongside that, consultations took place, or draft regulations, in a number of different areas, including intimidation by strikers and also the use of agency staff as strike breakers. And one of the concerns was that there was a perceived lack of a democratic mandate in some of the industrial action that had taken place. So, for example, in one of the teachers' strikes, one of the members of the House of Lords pointed out that, in fact, it only had 12% of the constituency, if I could say, voting in favour of that, and yet strike action was undertaken. And some opposition to the bill has come from unusual quarters, notably the CIPD. The CIPD raised concerns saying that the bill may harden attitudes producing unintended consequences and interfere with currently constructive relations. And indeed, it went so far as to say that the bill has an outdated ideological orientation. If anybody asks you what was this talk about, you're going to tell them, I learned a lot about the European Convention on Human Rights, especially Article 11. So just once you've told them that, they'll leave you alone.